Welcome, everybody. What's up? My name is Laura Cantu. Welcome to yet another live Monday. Today, we are talking about summer activities that colleges and universities love to see in a student's application. Today, I will be talking about what your student can do to take advantage of the summertime. I want to remind you to, if you haven't done so already, follow or subscribe to all of our YouTube channel. Not our YouTube channels, our social media platforms, social media channels. We have we're active in mostly all platforms. We are active on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you want to have as much college planning information that can help you and your students, plan for college, then for sure, subscribe, follow us, and, share this videos, share this information. If you are a parent watching this with your children, if you're a student watching this, watch this with your parent, share with your parent or guardian, because this information is going to be very helpful for both students and parents. Parents, if you're watching this, remember, we always say this, that the college planning process should be a team effort between students and parents. We have seen a lot of results. We have seen hundreds of students be successful, and these students had, their parents, their guardians, their mentors along the way to encourage them and to listen to them. So, we've seen a lot of success stories. So definitely help your student, listen to your parents, listen to what they want to say, and communicate with them. Let them know what you want to do, what you want to say, and keep that line of communication open, because trust me, that is going to be very, very helpful. So let's get started. Summer activities. What are summer activities? Well, summer activities are the perfect thing that you can add to your application, that it's also going to help your student prepare for college, and it can also help students explore possible career paths. So summer activities can, range from taking classes. It can range from joining a sports team, joining a theater club, outside of school. It can be many things, and I will get into the specific examples in just a second, but there are many benefits to practicing a summer activity. Like I just mentioned, it can help a student prepare for college. It can help them prepare a more attractive, a more competitive college application. And for students who might be undecided on what they want to major in, what they want to study once they get to college, it could help them explore possible career paths. Let's say a student is not sure what they want to study. Maybe they are thinking about something somewhere in the medical field, but they are also interested in maybe math, maybe physics. They could volunteer at a hospital, and see what it's like to work around in the medical field, maybe being a nurse, maybe being a doctor. Or they could take math courses, or take an online math class. So there are plenty of things that students can do. And as I said, I will get into, more in depth into this in just a second. But definitely, summer activities are also great for students, who are trying to build a more competitive application. Because remember that I want to let you know that every summer, if used correctly, every summer matters. So what does that mean? Throughout high school and even throughout middle school, every summer is important, and students have the power of making the summertime, something really special and something that could help them stand out to colleges and universities. But the two summers that, can be the most important, because we do get that question, is the sophomore and the junior year of high school. Those can be the summers that students can get a lot done. Summers that students can, do a lot of important things that are going to, impact their application. And I will talk about that in a little bit. But definitely, a lot of students, think that the summer is a time to relax and, no school, so I don't have to do anything. And yes, by any means, I am not saying that students should not be focused, should only be working like crazy and not enjoying their summer. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is take advantage of your summer. Take advantage. Parents, encourage your students to, yes, relax. You don't have to go to class. Your student doesn't have to go to class every day from, I don't know, 6 a.m. to 1 or 2 p.m., depending on the school. But they also have more free time. They're going to have a lot of free time to do a lot of things. And, I was actually reading an article earlier today that a lot of students today, they actually, in the competitive schools have pretty good, similar applications in the sense of their grades. They have good grades. They try to have good grades, high enough not test scores, but a high GPA, that obviously that is very attractive to schools. But, a lot of colleges are starting to look at those extracurricular activities, at those things that the student does outside of the classroom, about that, those things that are going to determine who the student really is. So keep that in mind, because a lot of, there are a lot of parents who think, oh, it's okay, as long as my student has a high GPA, they will be fine. But remember, the more the competitive schools, or just like the top ranked schools, or even not even top ranked schools, but colleges are going to want students who are doing more than just getting good grades. They're going to want well balanced students. And on the other hand, well-rounded students, sorry. And on the other hand, colleges are also going to, let's say a student's GPA or grades aren't as high as they would like. Students could use their extracurriculars, their leadership positions, and all the other activities, their summer projects, to their advantage to strengthen a college application. So there are a lot of benefits of, taking advantage of the summertime to create a more well-rounded application. Alrighty. So now that I talked about what summer activities are, let's talk and let's give you all some examples that your students, or if you're students watching this, that yourself you could do. So the first type of summer activity that, a lot of students do practice is summer programs. These are, summer programs can be hosted by colleges and universities. Some call it pre-college, some are just a 2-week program. Some are a summer-long program. It depends on the university. And there are hundreds and hundreds of programs that colleges and universities across the country host for students. One of them is, these are some examples as you can see on the screen, and let me share them with my people of Instagram. So for example, MIT does a Future Entrepreneurs. They do an entrepreneurship program for high school students, for teenagers. So this is not for college students. Harvard does a pre-college program and a secondary school program. UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, does a Future Lawyers. So a summer program for students who are interested in maybe one day doing studying law. And UPenn, the University of Pennsylvania, has a coding boot camp. So as you can see, these are only 4 of hundreds of summer programs that a lot of colleges have available for high school students or students who are not yet undergraduate students, right? So, this is just one type of activity that students can do. We actually got asked earlier in our Spanish live stream if these are free programs or do these cost money, depending on the school. In most of the cases, these summer programs are going to cost some money. But on the bright side, there are a lot of summer programs that have scholarships. And not everyone will get accepted to these summer programs, by the way. These are, there are application processes that the high school students who want to attend to these programs are going to have to go through, like writing an essay, submitting an application, answering questions. And this is going to help students, better prepare for the college application process. And it's going to be kind of like a nice way for students who eventually are going to be applying to college to, practice what it's like to apply for college, because you're going to have to send it on your student is going to have to be sending in an application, right? So definitely the summer programs are probably most likely going to have some sort of application process. There are some summer programs that offer scholarships, so there might not be as expensive for some students. Some students are not going to be eligible for scholarships or are not going to win a scholarship, so they might have to pay money for this. So these are all things to keep in mind and consider. But this is one type of activity, of summer activity, that a lot of colleges do like to see, right? And if you want to go to a specific college, let's say you want to go to Stanford, Harvard, or I don't know, the University of Texas at Austin, and you do a summer program in Stanford, or you do it in a community college or a state college, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get accepted, or if you want to go to Stanford and you do a summer program in Stanford, that doesn't mean that you're going to be for sure getting accepted as an undergrad in Stanford. It's, it depends on, it's not only the summer program, right? The summer program is kind of like a topping when you have an ice cream, is adding to the ice cream, right? It's what's important. It's obviously your application as a whole, what you did in high school, what your student did in middle school, what your student is doing in high school, their grade, GPA, if the school that they're applying to require standardized tests, that's also going to matter. But adding these summer activities it's going to be like adding more toppings to your favorite ice cream. I hope you like that metaphor right there. But definitely keep that in mind. And yeah, that's one type of summer activity, which is summer programs, pre-college, things like that a lot of colleges offer. Now, another type of summer activity that your students could be practicing this summer is getting a job. Yep, getting a part-time job. Colleges are impressed by students who had a job in high school, who held the job, maybe who kept the job for more than just a few months. If it's the summertime and if it's a summer job, that's different. But even this, I know we're talking about summer activities, but even having a job, throughout the year, a part-time job or a weekend job, that's going to be pretty impressive, because if you have a job where you are obviously earning money, but you also are having all these different responsibilities, if your student has this on top of having a good GPA, having good test scores, that is also going to be something that looks pretty attractive to colleges. Now, keep in mind also that having a job or having a work history will demonstrate to colleges that the student has initiative and that they are responsible individuals, right? That's why getting a job can be so beneficial to students, because, it's not only about, the student has a job. Okay, but no, they're high school students. There are not, graduates that their only responsibility is work. There's going to be a lot of responsibility that a high school student has, and adding a job over it, and obviously staying, grounded and having good grades on top of that. Trust me, colleges are going to be pretty impressed by that. So definitely remember that this summer, if your student has maybe some summer classes that they're taking, or if they're doing a summer program, having a job, if they have time for it, to add a part-time job to their schedule, that's going to be something that colleges are going to appreciate, and it's going to be impressive. Additionally, it's also going to teach the students a lot about financing. It's going to teach them what it's like to be responsible enough to get paid for their responsibilities. They're going to be also able to save up some money. When I was in high school and I actually had 2 summer jobs, it was amazing. It was amazing to have my own income. Of course, it was a part-time job as a high schooler, but it was still a great way for me to start budgeting my money and to start, purchasing things that I liked, purchasing things that I needed on my own. And it did teach me a lot about, hard work paying off in a different way. Because in school, you have the student can do hard work and they get paid off with good grades, and eventually they get into a good university. But, once you're seeing that monetary, award or reward for doing your job, it's something that really does help, form a student or form a teenager, beyond the classroom. And additionally, the student is going to have a lot of skills that they're going to be able to use in the future, right? So definitely remember that this is another option. Now, also, if a student is doing a bunch of other summer activities, such as being part of a sports team, maybe doing a summer program, or maybe doing some of the other activities that we will talk in just a second, maybe having a job won't be a priority or wouldn't be ideal, right? You don't want to saturate your student. Or if you're a student watching this, you don't want to oversaturate yourself, right, with a bunch of activities. So definitely keep this in mind. It is the summertime, so it's all about balance. Alrighty? All right, so that was our second example of a summer activity. Now, moving on to our third example of a summer activity that students can do. It's starting a project, right? A summer project, a project that the student is passionate about, and maybe starting it over the summer and keep doing it throughout the year. So what is a project? So turn your interests and talents into a summer project. What could be a project? So there are a lot of things that the student could do, or a lot of projects that the student could start, and a lot of ways a student could turn their passions and their talents into projects. So if the student is passionate about music, they could start trying to create music, to produce music. Technology is crazy now. Students can, people, not only students, anybody could, download a software and start learning how to produce music from a computer, right? From an iPad. Students could also create an art portfolio if you are artistic, or if your student is interested in photography, if they are taking art classes and maybe eventually want to be a digital media creator or a content creator, or if they want to just do old-fashioned art, right? In a canvas, create an art portfolio and start prepping, building a portfolio that eventually they could either use it to apply to colleges, they could use it to improve their craft, or they could, maybe start an auction where they sell their art and, the profits go towards a charity. The possibilities when starting a project for high schoolers, these possibilities can be endless, right? And starting something unique, something that is going to help the community, or something that is going to help, build the students' knowledge, is something that colleges are going to appreciate a lot. Another type of project is learning how to code. Teaching your student can teach themselves how to code. There are a lot of resources that, for free, that teach students for free how to code. So definitely, if your student is interested in maybe one day majoring in computer science, or studying something in the software engineering, some software engineering related, they could start by learning the basics of coding, over the summers, and then throughout the school year, taking the AP classes related to coding, such as AP Computer Science. I believe there are 2 computer science, AP level computer science courses, maybe eventually taking a dual enrollment class. But it all starts with self-teaching, and it's not only about teaching yourself, it could be learning how to code, so eventually your student can build a website one day, or build an app, do things with those skills that you are acquiring, your student is acquiring. Or something else, another summer project, or a summer project that could turn into a high school project. Let's say if the student is in their summer of freshman year of high school, it could be starting a business. There are ways students can start a business now with, online platforms. I talk about creating an art portfolio, maybe selling your art, right? Or if, baking is something that the student is passionate about, starting a dog treat business. If you like animals and you want to learn how to, make treats for dogs and, selling them, donating some of that money to charity. I mean, wow, I just gave you a lot of ideas for your students. So definitely, there are a lot of things and a lot of ways to take advantage of summer, right? And remember, most colleges, they say this all the time. They say it in their admissions websites. Colleges are looking for students who are going to make a change, who are going to make a difference in their community. Call students that are going to make an impact. And summer is a perfect time for students to, do things that are going to make an impact in their community, are going to make an impact in their high school maybe. Because if you are doing these things, if your student is doing these things in high school, and once they apply to college, they show colleges, this is what I did. This is how I used what I loved to, make a change, to start a business, to start a nonprofit, to start a charity. Colleges are going to appreciate that a lot because they're going to want those same actions at their university. They're going to want that student who did so much to their high school, so much to their local church, to their local food bank, or that student who was passionate about self-learning, how to take photographs, how to, understanding biology if they took a biology summer class. They're going to want that student to attend their university, a student who is hungry for knowledge, right? So I know that I just went on a huge tangent there, but definitely, hopefully those were helpful to you. And finally, we actually do have another activity before I get to my next point. My final activity, and I kind of talked about this earlier, something else that students could do is, and there are many other things that I haven't gotten, to talk about in this training, in this free webinar, not webinar, this live stream that, students could do. And also additionally, we also talk about this inside of Best College A more in depth. But the, fourth type of activity, summer activity that students could do over the summer to prepare for college admissions and to, look more attractive or more, that colleges love to see is volunteering, right? Colleges want to see commitment and durability. Remember that. So if your student is going to be volunteering, somewhere throughout high school during the summer, remind them that, like I said, colleges want to see durability and commitment. They want to see students who are committed to what they love to do, not students who did a volunteering in their library for a month and then they dropped out and then they never did volunteer hours again. Of course, it's fine if the student doesn't know if they're going to like their volunteering, where they're volunteering in the beginning. That's fine. It's fine to, explore. But also, that's why it's important to start earlier, like since the summer, in middle school even, start finding out what is it that the student likes, find a volunteer charity, a volunteer place that they can volunteer at, that they're going to be doing it for a long time to show their commitment, right? And try to volunteer, as soon as possible over the summer. Dedicate 2 to 3 hours a week to volunteering. Summer is a great time because during the year, there are times that students are not going to be able to volunteer every week or to do volunteer work. That's why, summer is a great time for students to volunteer and to do it throughout the week. Maybe dedicate, as I said, 2 to 3 hours to get those volunteer hours in, and to eventually show schools, that you were dedicated to a specific project or a specific foundation, whatever it is that the student chooses to volunteer. So yeah, that is the that was the fourth type of summer activity that we all at Best College recommend for students. Now, my next point is, if you are still hungry for more tips and if you want to keep learning the tips that are going to help your students prepare for college with scholarships, to get accepted to college with scholarships, we have a free webinar for you, a free training where we share the 6 strategies that will help your student get accepted to college with scholarships. If you're interested in learning these strategies, I invite you to click the link below this video if you're watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching us on Instagram and on TikTok, you can find the link to this training in our on our website, in the link in our bio. You will learn the 6 secrets to help your students get accepted to college with scholarships. If you're a student watching this, it will help you as well. So parents, watch this training with your student. Students, watch this training with your parent or guardian. Trust me, it's very helpful. We have helped thousands and thousands of families with this specific training, prepare and understand the college admissions process. And, we've been told by many students, many parents, that watching this training actually, helped them understand how the system works, the education system works in the United States, understand things, better, and it's helped them take advantage of a lot of opportunities. So again, if you want to learn the 6 tips that could help your student get accepted to college with scholarship, if you're watching this on YouTube and on Facebook, the link is below this video's description. If you're watching this on Instagram or on TikTok, you can watch this free training in the link in our bio. You can register and you can learn all of these tips for free. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of this amazing opportunity to learn some free tips. Don't forget to follow us in all of our social media channels, all of our social media platforms. It's Best College Aid USA. Don't forget to share this with somebody who might need it. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Laura Cantu, and I hope that you found this information helpful. I certainly think it was a great live stream today. We had a lot of great questions, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Have a fantastic week and see you soon.